Welcome to Power Predictions. Here we discuss fantasy football and provide our professional insight on upcoming football games. My name is Gill, and I am joined with Azad and Evan.
Azad here. You can hear us from 8 to 9 p.m. every Tuesday night. Excited to be sharing our football knowledge with you, and hope you enjoy this episode of Power Predictions.
Hello, 889 The Bridge. My name is Gill, and I am joined with Azad. In a new face today, we have Ajay from Period 1. So Azad is in Period 1 radio. I'm in Period 5. Azad brought over Ajay for this Week 6 fantasy football talk. Evan is out today, but we replaced him with Ajay, and Ajay has a lot of great NFL insight. So happy to have you on the show, Ajay. Let's go into the first, pretty big game of the week, Ravens-Chargers. Justin Herbert, he's looking great this year. Really good fantasy quarterback to have, but same goes being said with Lamar Jackson, who comes back late in the game against the Colts. What do you guys think about this game?
Well, Lamar Jackson actually won my fantasy game last week because he went off.
Yep.
And I'm thinking Lamar Jackson going to have another big game because the Chargers defense it's pretty average. So I think Lamar's going to have a big game. And same with Herbert. I think he might take a step back because the Ravens defense is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Chargers in this one. I'm gonna take the Ravens in this one. The Ravens looked really great on Monday against the Colts. Even though they struggled on defense, I would say it was a tough game on defensively for them. They couldn't really stop Jonathan Taylor as much as I would like to see. But they're a great team. Lamar Jackson did great. He had his career high in passing yards, 450 or so yards. So that's great. It's a great look for him. People say he can't throw the ball. He can throw the ball really well, and it's also, of course, a dual threat with running. I'm going to take him and the Ravens to take against this game.
I like that pick. I'm going to go against you guys. I'm going to go with the Chargers and Austin Eckler. I know Lamar had a great fantasy game, but Austin Eckler, same goes being said with him. He kind of went off, and he's a great running back there, and I really like Justin Herbert at quarterback. Think he's going to put up a lot of points against this Baltimore Ravens defense. Mm-hmm. Now, let's go into the next game. I think we got to talk about that Browns game next week. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think this is the game of the week because the Cardinals right now are 5-0. Browns are 3-2. Even though they're 3-2, they're still a very good team. I think I'm going to go with the Browns in this one just because the Browns' offensive line, I don't think the Cardinals have faced an offensive line like the Browns do, and the Browns have a great offensive line, and Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt won't be able to get as much pressure as they're not used to. So since that, I'll take the Browns, and hopefully the Cardinals take their first loss since I'm a Seahawks fan and we need to catch the Cardinals.
Yep. What do you think, Azad?
I'm going to go against you, Ajay. I'm going to take the Cardinals to continue their hot season start against the Browns. I think they're going to do really well. Kyler Murray's been pretty much untouchable, unguardable this year. DeAndre Hopkins had a phenomenal week, and I think he'll do it again. And I don't see the Cleveland Browns, getting to Kyler Murray because he's so fast, and I don't see those big guys on the D-line doing as much damage as Ajay said.
I really do like Ajay's point, though, that J.J. Watt, he's not going to be able to get to Baker Mayfield as quickly as he has done in weeks before. And Baker Mayfield, we've seen he's a really good long ball quarterback. When he has time in the pocket, he's able to make throws to his receivers, and we've seen that time in and time again. But if he's not being pressured, because that O-line is going to be able to keep J.J. Watt out, for that reason, I think I'm going to take the Browns this week. I think this is Cardinals' first loss.
Okay.
I liked Ajay's point on that one. All right. So, what do you guys think fantasy-wise? Do we like Baker Mayfield for that reason? Do we think he's going to have a big passing week again, or what?
I mean, I think it's going to be an ugly game. I think it's going to be more Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt than Baker Mayfield just because that's their number one thing on their offense. Their run game is better than their passing game since OBJ has kind of been struggling. Landry's hurt. So I think they're going to focus on the run game and expect big games from Chubb and Hunt.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add, Azad?
Yeah, I'm just adding on to Ajay. When you have the run game going, it's pretty much unstoppable. If you could get those 5 yards of carry like Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt have been doing, they're one of the best dual running back threats in the NFL, and I think they're going to it's definitely going to be a tough challenge for the Cardinals.
And I think you brought up last episode, Ajay wasn't here for this, but you talked about how that dual running back is so important in the league because if Nick Chubb, he's super gassed, just put in Kareem Hunt to go and score the touchdowns.
Of course.
Now let's talk about the Cowboys then, because they have that duo running back like you've been telling me. I need another running back on my team, and you're talking about Tony Pollard, slipping him in the lineup.
That's your guy.
Yeah, I know. What do you think about their run game against the Patriots? Are they going to get it done this week?
Oh, they're going to get it done 100%. Tony Pollard right now, he is 8th in rushing in the whole entire league. And he's a secondary running back, and he's averaging 7 yards a carry. He's your guy. They're starting to use him in the pass game, so if you're doing PPR, he'll be a good running back for that. And also, he's been averaging he's been averaging a lot of carries a game now. He's getting up to 10, 15, and it's perfect because Zeke's had back-to-back 100-yard games. I can't remember the last time I saw that from Zeke. Zeke's looking sharp. He's getting these big gains. But one thing I want to credit for the Cowboys, it's not just the running backs. The offensive line is amazing.
Yep.
It's a very solid offensive line, big guys, and they're doing a great job right now. And they're all healthy, and I hope to see them all healthy. And I think the Cowboys will have a real shot, and I think they're going to beat the Patriots by 2 or 3 touchdowns.
And I'll give it to Ajay next after this. But like you were talking about with the running backs, running backs, the key with fantasy is consistency. But I also want to shout out my buddy Wyatt Marshall from Oregon. He sent me over the week, said you should talk about this on the show. Cowboys leading the league in interception. Big thanks to Trayvon Diggs. Man, that guy's crazy on defense.
Yeah.
You do not want to throw the ball over there. But now I'm going to give it to Ajay. What do you think about this week?
I see an upset coming in this game. I think Bill Belichick is too good of a coach to be losing this much. America's team isn't so great as we think. I think the Cowboys are riding really high right now, lots of confidence, and I think the Patriots' old-fashioned style football will shut him down this weekend. I want to see how the Cowboys react when their offense gets stopped, and I think when their offense starts to get slowed down, they're not going to be able to react well. And since that they can't react well, the Patriots will win this game, mostly due to the defense. Not as much as the Patriots' offense. They're kind of average on offense, but I think their defense can stop Dak Prescott and company.
Definitely stirring the pot here. What do you think, Azad?
Yeah, I was going to say the best part of arguably one of the better sides of the football is the Cowboys' defense. They're looking great. Micah Parsons is looking great.
I want to see Micah Parsons play someone else besides the Giants and the Eagles, and
he's played all year. He's done great. He has pressures against anyone.
The Cowboys are 4-1. They have one impressive win. So.
And that leads me to my last question, Ajay.
Against the Chargers.
Because you're going for the New England Patriots here. What do you think about Mac Jones? Will he be able to handle this Cowboys defense?
I think he's able. I don't know if he's going to have a huge game, but he's not going to. He's a guy that doesn't make mistakes. He's a game manager. That's literally what he is. And I think he's going to do a good enough job to manage the game and not make too much mistakes. He's not going to have a big game by any means, but he won't lose the game for the Patriots.
I like that. And sorry, you might hear people in the background. That is the radio class going on right now. Had a little wonky of a schedule. But let's go on to the next game. I mean, I kind of want to talk about the Chiefs next week just because of how close to that Bills game was. Bills taking down the Chiefs. I mean, did you guys expect this? I had some speculation that Josh Allen was going to show up this game, but man, he had a game.
Yeah, I actually expected this.
You expected this?
Yeah, I'd say I expected it. Josh Allen, I mean, he always plays at his best against Patrick Mahomes. It's kind of that rivalry, and I think we're going to see that for a long time to come, Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. And Josh Allen got the best of Patrick Mahomes. I think the Chiefs are off to a rough start. They're not doing as hot as people think they are this year. I mean, I still think we'll see them deep into the playoffs, and they'll probably start to turn it up later. But right now, they're not looking that great, and the Buffalo Bills are looking great.
Okay, what do we think then for Buffalo Bills against the Tennessee Titans next week?
Oh, but this is a tough one, Gill, because I love the Titans. I love Derrick
Henry.
Henry. I do love the Titans.
Gosh.
I have Derrick Henry in all my fantasy leagues, and I love Derrick Henry.
Okay, what do you think, Ajay, then, for this Buffalo Bills?
This seems like a comfortable win for the Bills. Titans, they had that lucky win over the Seahawks, and Derrick Henry is all they do. I think Julio's not healthy yet. AJ Brown's been struggling this year. Their offensive line's all banged up. I think the Bills take care of the Titans. I'm not sure. I think it's probably they win by 10 probably.
Here's the question: does Derrick Henry need an offensive line though? I think that guy can run through a whole defense without one even.
Well, that's talking about the passing game.
Well, true. Yep.
He needs an offensive line because he's a running back. Line, but I get your point. But Derrick Henry, he gets it going in the second half. That's where he wears you out in terms of the defense because he's 240 pounds pounding you for the first half. They get tired in the second half. You start to see his yards exponentially grow. We saw in the Seahawks game, he had 150 yards in the second half. He turns it up in the second half because they just get tired of tackling him because he's really hard to take down.
I love my Titans, and I like all the points being brought up, but Josh Allen's just too good to bet against him this week. That's why I'm taking the Bills on this one. Let's end it out now. We're going to be talking about how the Seahawks in their long-term kind of outlook, it's not been good for the Seahawks. Not a great start, especially being in Seattle here. Fans are really disappointed. They're trying to find something to root for, but they might have something to root for against the Pittsburgh Steelers here this week. It's going to be a close game, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the Seahawks with Russell Wilson hurt, and they're saying 4 to 8 weeks, something like that. I think the goal for the Seahawks for talking long term is to go 4-4 going to their bye. So that means you go 2-1 your next 3 games. That's the Steelers, Saints, and Jaguars, and then you bye, and then you hope Russell Wilson comes back after that.
Yep.
But
It's hard to say.
So if the Seahawks can beat the Steelers today, I think they'll be in this weekend, they'll be in great position because I think they easily beat the Jaguars, and I think the Saints would probably lose to the Saints. So we have to beat the Steelers or the Saints, one of those two teams, to be in good position when Russell Wilson comes back. We cannot go 0-3 or 1-2.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a rough one for the Seahawks to pull off. I mean, we haven't seen all parts of their game like kind of work together. It's kind of been the defense has been struggling, the offense has been struggling, the quarterback's been struggling, the wide receivers have been struggling. Never have gotten it all together. It is struggling now, and that's my suggestion. I'm going to suggest to the Seahawks they should pick up a quarterback who I think is potentially still could be a starting quarterback in this NFL league. I'm going to say Cam Newton. Pick him up, and I think behind Russell Wilson will teach him a thing or two, and I think you can get him for not a ton of money, and he'll take it because Cam Newton's still a great quarterback in my opinion. And I think if he can learn from Russell Wilson, I think next year he could potentially be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
And a thing to add also, you were talking about it last week, to bring it up again. You said for the Seahawks to win last week, going against the Rams, that they were going to need to know how to shut down the run defense with Darrell Henderson, as well as stop great guys like Cooper Kupp. And, of course, now Robert Woods, kind of a shining star on that team, starting to finally pick it up. But they didn't do that. You know, they got beat by the run still, and they got beat by the pass, and their defense was just really lacking. And when Russell Wilson gets taken out, it kind of all falls apart, I almost think. And they almost made it a battle at the end. But Steelers beating the Broncos, I'm just confident with the Steelers in this week. They beat a pretty good defense in the Broncos, and the Seahawks defense is definitely not any better than the Broncos defense, so that's why I'm going to take the Steelers this week.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Steelers too this week. It's not going to look good for the Seahawks.
I don't see the Steelers winning this game. Big Ben has proved absolutely nothing to me that he is any good. I think Geno Smith.
What has Geno Smith proven?
That he played good last week. Big Ben hasn't played good all year.
Here, let's think of one thing though. Geno Smith, when he went in, the team never thought that Russell Wilson, with his long, I think 146 game streak he's been playing actively, that he was going to come out that game. So I think they did no film on Geno.
That's facts.
They're going to have a little bit more film going into it. They're going to know Geno's playing. Mm-hmm. And how much do you think that weighs on the Seattle Seahawks win?
It weighs a lot because I remember last year Jalen Hurts came into the season. He started lighting it up because nobody was ready for him. And I was like, oh my God, Jalen Hurts so good. And then like 3 weeks later, he had a few horrible games because defenses had to get some film on him and then no. So maybe they don't have a lot of film on Geno, but like maybe if he starts for a long time, it'll be bad, but maybe he can do good in his like first 2 games. Yeah,
they'll be prepared though. So, Ajay, you think if the Seahawks win this game, they're looking pretty good for their long-term
I mean, they're not looking pretty good, but like they're looking good enough for Russell Wilson to come back.
Decent. I like that. Azad, what do you think for Seahawks? Playoff maybe? No.
I know it's really early to say, but I wouldn't call it a must-win, but these next 2 games for the Seahawks will be crucial because they're in the toughest division.
Well, I think you have to must-win one of them for sure.
Yeah, you definitely have to must-win one of them. It's a little early to say like must-win this one, but because their division is so hard, that's why I'm putting that pressure on the Seahawks right now. So I think it's almost a must-win for them.
Okay, and I think that does it for Power Predictions. We're going to wrap it up here because, like always, our lunch period is about to end. Thank you, Ajay, for joining us this week. Evan might be back next week, but it was a really fun episode to make this week. Hope to see you all on Power Predictions on Friday nights.
Subscribe to the YouTube.
Subscribe.